Love your calls on vaping. Should we ban it indoors? Prime Minister is reported to be considering it as part of a wider crackdown on nicotine products. We talked last week, didn't we, about a possible ban on smoking cigarettes in pub gardens, people being told they can't smoke there, maybe not even in parks, stadiums, etc. A lot of people angry about it. What about banning vaping indoors? So you basically give vaping the status of cigarettes. What are those? Is that a hubble bubble that's called? Or what is that thing? A hookah pipe? I don't know. But you ban the whole lot, Charlie.
Yeah, I mean, I just don't get why the government is so fixated at the minute on banning things that perhaps, it's got other things to be doing. There are lots of problems that they need to fix, and I don't think this is necessarily one of them. If you're going to drive people out of restaurants, or if you're going to drive people out of pubs, even if you can't smoke a normal cigarette outside in a beer garden anymore, then I think that is something that is going to cripple sometimes one of the heartbeat of local communities, which is our pubs. I'll always support our local pubs.
But on vaping here, what about banning some vaping?
I'm a bit torn on this, actually, because I feel like vaping is actually really good for getting people to stop smoking. So that's a good thing. The problem is that it's now becoming something that attracts younger people, certainly, to start smoking.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, so this is why I think it's problematic. I think part of it is it needs to stop possibly being so, marketed towards children, all these, bright colours and bubblegum flavours and this, that and the other. And they do smell really nice, by the way.
And disposables, yeah.
Yeah, so I'm a little bit torn here. I get the point as well about that we're trying to take away pressure on the NHS, because yes, vaping is far better for you than smoking, but there is still risks to your health. There is, it's got toxins in there, it's got nicotine, so there's lung disease, there's heart disease, there's other issues that to worry about. I just don't know about just this banning is the right move.
I'm not sure. Yeah, I don't know whether people may be starting to vape when they wouldn't otherwise have started to smoke. Whether people are vaping and then moving on to the old cigarette, I'm not sure.
It's not. Apparently, I'm pretty sure I read that it is not a gateway.
No.
It's
well,
not
that's
how
right.
people
I don't think, as I understand it, nicotine on its own isn't necessarily a problem. The problem is burning tobacco. That's what gives you cancer. So, yeah, I'm definitely addicted to caffeine. There's no doubt. I can give it up, but I don't want to. And I think nicotine may be slightly in the same category.
Well, exactly. And then how many things do we do as humans that aren't good for us?
Yeah.
Sugar, caffeine, other extracurricular stuff that people engage in. I'm just saying, I don't think the government should be. This feels like a bit of an overstep.
Will, in London, are you a vapor?
Hello, Jeremy. No, I'm not.
Do you think they should start cracking down on it a bit?
No, I don't. I just think this is just another move from Mr. Starmer. He's almost a self-proclaimed king of the nanny state, isn't he? How are they going to enforce it?
Well, they enforce the cigarette ban with the answer is by the use of what are they called? Those snitches, which is what we had in lockdown. Everyone said how they're going to enforce lockdown. Half the country started snitching on their neighbours.
It's also societal pressure. Like, if there is a sign saying no vaping and someone's vaping, everyone's a bit like...
It's I'll tell you how they enforce it. The person who rang Kensington Council to complain that Kirsty Allsop had sent her child on holiday will ring everyone about people seen vaping. So they'll enforce it, Will. But would you be tempted to start vaping if a ban came in?
No, I've never smoked and I've never vaped. But if you go back to the previous soundbite from Mr. Starmer about smoking outside pubs and restaurants, all people are going to do is move to the shop next door and smoke outside there instead.
Yeah, true. I hadn't thought of that. Yes, exactly. Yeah, I think stopping people vaping or smoking in the street will be hard. Yeah. But, as I've said, I think that they've managed to stop lots of things. Thank you, Will. Nigel in Warwickshire, are you a vape user?
No, I'm not, but I believe in liberties, unlike this 20% government, of course. 20% of the electorate voted for this government, but never actually revealed how authoritarian it was going to become and how anti-pensioner it has become, of course, as well. Of course, lockdown for smokers, lockdown for vapers. What next?
What you really think they're that sort of authoritarian, or they are going to really crack down on people?
Well, Starmer didn't want Freedom Day on the 21st of July 2021, if you remember. He wanted us to be locked down forever. And, of course, Starmer always lies. And no doubt he'll be coming up with some other lockdown for people who drink.
Why did you vote Labour, Nigel?
I voted Reform.
Ah.
Only 9 million people voted Labour, and yet they've got 33% the electorate voted for them,
Yep.
and now they've got a whopping majority.
Why do you call them the 20% Labour? I couldn't work out your 20% thing. What was that?
Well, 33% of 60% who voted is 20%.
Oh, I see. Yeah, okay, right. Marina, can you take on Nigel? Is he right about all of that?
No, also a lot of this stuff, it's just being considered. It's not being done yet. And it's also done with there's a good intention in there. I know you think it's coming. I also think it's an overstep. But I think to try and call this Labour government authoritarian after having just experienced the Conservatives who took away our freedom of movement, who basically stopped us from protesting if it's annoying and made it illegal, I think that's authoritarian. This is trying to look at long-term implications on our health, the nation's health, the NHS. I think they're slightly different.
Charlie?
Well, I think you can still protest. I don't think we've made protesting illegal. But
you can now get arrested for being annoying.
Oh, actually, when you said they took away our freedom of movement, I thought that was a reference to Brexit.
Yeah.
It was.
Right.
Is that not more authoritarian? They've taken away my right
people
to go
voted
and
for that.
live
You can still
and
travel.
study.
You can still travel.
Live and
You can still travel. You can still protest. But what this government is doing, I think, is
now limited.
it's not limited. You can travel wherever you like.
You can't.
You can get on a plane tomorrow if you like.
You can't be in the EU for more than...
You
can't retire as freely as you used to.
You can apply. You can apply for a visa like many other countries do.
So we're agreeing then it's limited. It's been reduced. Our freedoms
It's
have
not
been
limited
reduced.
at all. You can do anything.
I know
that
you
you're
probably
talking
voted Brexit and you're still campaigning for
I didn't vote
back of it.
Brexit.
But
I was on the Remain campaign.
okay, it's removed our freedoms of movement.
It hasn't removed freedoms.
It
People can
has,
still
and
travel.
people,
People
even
can still
Brexit
travel.
supporters, are finding this stuff
But
out.
Nigel, I agree with Nigel, because people will just end up, when it comes to vaping, people will just end up not going to pubs, or they won't go to restaurants.
with
They
this.
will just stay at home and they will smoke at home, and that'll be detrimental to the local economy, and they'll continue to do it. So I just don't know why the government is so committed to banning things when it's actually got... There's lots of issues in this country, Nigel, and we can agree on that, and lots of them lie at the footsteps of the former Conservative government. But I think focusing on vaping and banning cigarettes in beer gardens and all the rest of it is...
I'm always following the latest health thing on vaping. I want to see the definitive study that says if you vape at 25, you get a stroke at 40.
They don't have it.
No, they
We
don't.
know
They don't.
the long-term
Because it may not be the
effects.
case. It may be safe. Think about that. The astonishing thing, it may be safe. It smells of cinnamon. That's my problem with it. And I walk down the street and the guy's in front of me, his head suddenly explodes in a sort of plume of smoke.
Custard. I like the
A
custard.
plume of custard. Linda on X says vaping should be banned where smoking is banned. Not nice sitting in a restaurant just about to bite into your dinner and getting a mouthful of passion fruit. Or passion fruit glory, no less. That's interesting. I've not been in a restaurant where they allow vaping. And they don't allow it on planes, that's for sure. You can't start vaping on a plane. Dean on Facebook says, where there are these indoor places you can vape? They sound great, he says. But it's funny, isn't it, how nothing ever works out quite the way it's supposed to. So vaping was supposed to stop people smoking. You've actually got not that many fewer smokers. You've got a lot of new vapors. People who would not have been vapors otherwise.
But are they...
you tempted to vape at all, though?
No, I've never been a smoker or anything like that. But are they displaced smokers? And if
No,
so,
I don't think they are.
then surely that's only a good thing.
Yes, that would be great if that was the case. I think people are... I think it is very addictive. The nicotine is the addictive thing. The tobacco is the thing that causes the cancer.
Here's my anecdotal evidence, actually. I was at a party the other day, and two of my uni friends who do not smoke, but they had vapes. They were like just dipping into their vapes every now and then. They had never smoked before.
And do they have a smoker's cough?
No.
Because I wonder whether you might find vapor people end up with a hacking cough, as well as smelling of cinnamon. After the break, it's the papers and everything else, including...